Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Jock Talk podcast. It's been a while. You might have forgot who we are.
Wow.
I'm Brock. That is Matt. Matt, how we doing?
Fantastic. Told you pre-show, but I'm in the one room in the entire house that does not have an air conditioner. And just for, we're early June and it's been 90 plus for about 6 straight days. Everything's getting ready to start itself on fire. And
6 straight days?
Yeah. No rain either. No rain. It's been hot and sticky.
Yeah, we've been.
That was my nickname in high school.
It was. If you don't believe it, I was there. I was the one calling him hot and sticky. But anyways, guys, been a crazy offseason already across the whole NFL. But today we are going strictly Packers. We haven't talked Packers in a while, and I don't know if you've noticed, but Green Bay's been in the news a little bit. I think only for a couple reasons, but you may have missed it. The whole Aaron Rodgers wants out. Aaron Rodgers hates the management. Aaron Rodgers hates the team. Oh, Aaron Rodgers likes the team. Aaron Rodgers likes. There's so much just with Aaron Rodgers, but we also have our rookies. We have a couple free agents that are playing, a couple guys that missed last year that are coming back. So, Matt, we're going to dive right into it. What do you think the Packers need to do this season to really kind of get the sour taste out of our mouth out of last year, with or without Aaron?
Play defense in meaningful games.
Yeah.
2 straight years. Just if we had even any kind of semblance of a defense in the biggest game of the year, we would have gone to 2 straight Super Bowls. But instead, 2 years ago, we get ran all over by the 49ers. They ran for 612 yards, pretty sure. And then this past year, obviously, 74-year-old Thomas Brady, just kind of tears them apart. Not really tears them apart. The defense forced the turnovers. They couldn't take advantage. Matt LaFleur decided to kick a field goal. Kevin King can't play cover, can't cover and has to grab a T-shirt, and then is upset when he gets a flag thrown. So, it's just, play defense in big games.
Yeah, the defense, I mean, all of last year was pretty inconsistent. A lot of players were just hit or miss. Preston Smith being one of those
More
guys.
of that to come in our top 5, maybe?
Could be. Preston Smith was kind of inconsistent. Zadarius.
Preston wasn't inconsistent. He was just bad all year.
Yeah, he was more bad compared to the year before, where he was a very good player, and then he took a giant step back. Zadarius had his ups and downs. He was a great player some days and mediocre the others. That's just on defense. I mean, Kevin King is. If you are a Packers fan, we don't even need to tell you what Kevin King did and didn't do well.
And then he got paid for it.
Yeah, he got brought back.
He didn't get a big payday, but he got paid.
It's this is a put up or shut up contract. It's the 1 year,
$6 million, I think. Yeah.
With benefit or with
incentives.
So I think it's like $4 million. So it's really, like I said, put up or shut up, because we took it with our first round pick, Eric Stokes, who has been impressive so far, as what we have heard in their mini camps and everything so far.
CB2.
We're hoping, but I think come week 1, I think Kevin King will be there as the cornerback number 2, and then by week 3 he will not be. And I think it will be Eric Stokes. I mean, maybe Kevin King is more. No, I'm not even gonna say it, because it's not true, because he's not fast. So he can't play the nickel. He can't play the slot.
He doesn't tackle.
He's not very good. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that was one of the biggest surprises of this offseason so far, is we actually brought him back. I think I can speak for you on that. I think we both were just like, I think the whole Packer Nation was like, did you not watch the final game? And like, that should have been the last straw. Like, Maybe that's why Aaron's pissed off, because you brought up one of the main reasons why you lost the game. You brought him back. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, there could be multitudes of things with Aaron, but you know, hey,
so
my inside sources tell me that's what it was.
Yeah. So let's go into Aaron a little bit. So like you start off with, you know, we've heard a little bit of everything about why he's upset, and then you've heard a little bit of everything about, oh, he's not upset because of that, but it's this. So let's start listing them off. So he's upset that the Packers don't spend in free agency. He's upset at the culture, not at the culture, but you know, the culture is what it is, and you know, it's just something that he doesn't feel is continuing on, and that's something that actually came from his mouth during that Kenny Mayne interview. So that's something that we can. You know, we've heard it from him, not from a source, through another source from a source. So not spending in free agency, not drafting him weapons early on, not only drafting Jordan Love, but trading up to draft Jordan Love. You know, Brian Gutekunst, for whether if it's those reasons or something completely different, the team not getting his input when dealing with re-signing players or releasing players, i.e. Jordy, Jake Kumro. I think those are the two biggest ones, at least. So out of all of those things, if you had to say, you know, what the most upsetting is, or what you think has maybe the most truth to it, you know, if you just had to pick one of those things, what is it?
For me, I think it is. They're not going to him to talk about what the direction of that team is going. Like you said, Jordy, Jake Kumro. Yeah, Jake Kumro is not the best player in the world, but he had Aaron's respect. He knew the playbook, and Aaron trusted him. And then you give him, who would be the next guy up? You bring in like a guy like Darius Shepard, or somebody, you know, somebody who doesn't have the time with Aaron, doesn't hang out with Aaron, whatever, doesn't put the practice in with Aaron. But I think that's the biggest thing, is like, just even maybe draft day, be like, hey, Aaron, what do you think? Like this is what we're thinking about doing. What do you want? What do you want? Like, because we didn't need to trade up to get Jordan Love. We could have probably got him in the second round, traded up in the second round or whatever. And you could have got a nice weapon last year at, what was it, like 24 or 23, whatever it was. But you didn't. I think I think it's a lack of communication from Gutekunst and Aaron. Aaron's your franchise guy. Everyone knows that. And I think the lack of communication between those two has been terrible since, I think, day one. And Aaron's kind of just sick of it. He's like, I'm at the end of my career. I want to also set you up for success in the future. Like, give me things to win now, but we can make this for the future. I think we all know Aaron's a very smart guy, and he wouldn't just
cerebral. He
wouldn't just be like, nah, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing. Like, yes, can he be a prima donna like quarterback? Sure, he can. He has those little fits. We all know this, but he is a smart guy when it comes to the team and the direction that he thinks it should go. And I think that's just the disconnect between the two, is they have not agreed on what they want to do with the team. I think that's the biggest part. I don't think it's the philosophy or like the team or the coaches. I don't think it's any of that some of those sources said, oh, I'm one out. I'm telling the free agents I'm not going to be there next year. I don't think that's even remotely true. I think I know Adam Schefter was really getting ripped on for that. Yeah. So we'll see. I do think it's more the lack of communication with Gutekunst and what he actually wants to do. Yeah,
and part of this, not part of it, you know, this is my thinking personally, not what Aaron may be thinking, but you know, Gutekunst has not done a good job as GM.
No, he really has.
Terrible,
he had that terrible
drafting.
One decent draft, and that's it.
Not even a decent
I mean, getting Jair.
Jair. That's it.
Pretty much.
And Elton, I think, was drafted by him too, maybe.
It was.
I mean,
he brought in Zadarius and Amos.
Yeah,
cool.
But Preston's looking like a bad contract. Amos,
and even
he's been good.
Yeah, he shows up at the right times.
Yeah.
I also think it's like you said, the contracts like limit them to money, like.
And Aaron's, I mean, he's a part of that, but I mean, he's not. Yeah. He's not, Dak Prescott or Patrick Mahomes right now. But you look at these teams, like look at Kansas City though, for example, like look at what they did with Patrick Mahomes and his contract, and look what they're doing. They signed 2 starting offensive linemen this year. They're signing, like, every time there's a big free agent, you hear Kansas City's going to be involved. And you're like, how the hell can they possibly sign?
You can even say the Patriots. Yeah. It's like you can even say the Patriots. Patriots signed all. Now they weren't all top tier, but they were all. Yeah, I would like that guy on my team. I would like.
They also don't have the quarterback contract weighing them down.
True. I think Gutekunst has been very terrible with contracts, and maybe backloading it a lot more than we. I mean, I don't know the full details on how these contracts are working, but I think. I mean, who do we pay? Dean Lowry? I know that's a bad contract. I mean, you look at some of the other guys, like even Funchess isn't a great contract.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few. And Preston's not looking like a really bad contract.
Preston's looking as of right now after year 1 look good. You can't say steal because he was making good money.
Yeah.
After year 2, looks like a massive overpay, and I can't honestly imagine a way where after this year, based off of how last year went, that Preston's contract looks like it was worth it overall. Because I think this is a contract year, no? Or is he signed a 4
I think one more.
All right.
I think both of Smiths signed more, or the same year contract. I could be wrong, but even look at Kirksey. Billy Turner. Like, Billy Turner, I think, was actually a very good signing. Maybe a little more pricey.
I think Billy was like, what was he, 3 for 33?
Something like that. But still, it's like those are the kind of guys, like, that's not rebuilding your team, or they give you good production for 1 to 2 years and then they fizzle out and then you're stuck with shit money. So I think that's, honestly, looking at it now, is like that's probably the big deal. We can't sign anybody because our contracts are bad. Even like Zadarius is a good contract for the production, but it's a lot. It is.
And this is something that, looking back at it now, maybe if some of this would have come out, would have been less surprised. But what were we saying when let's see, who was the first one? When Patrick Peterson was a free agent, or J.J. Watt was was a free agent. What were we saying? We were all wondering, the Packers going to restructure Aaron's contract? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? And all this comes out on draft day, and you're wondering, well, there's why he's not restructuring, because he hates Brian Gutekunst or hates the organization or whatever it is. So
I do think it's Gutekunst. I don't think he loves Green Bay. We all know that. He's said it. He loves Green Bay. He loves the coaches. He loves his teammates. Loves the fans. All that. He never said anything about the management, and I could easily see that. I mean, I'm sure Brett might feel the same way. Like when he went out, I mean, look, it is literally looking exactly the same as it did back when Brett had his big ordeal, except they're like, you're retiring, or we're not going to sign you. And he retired and came out and was like, I'm still playing. Aaron's not going to do that, but this is what Aaron will do. Aaron will tell you, like, I think because it's a different age, different era, whatever. He's like, I know my worth. I know this. I know that. We need to do this together, and you need to help me help you type deal. And I think Gutekunst just doesn't want to hear it and just wants to be, it's his team. I'm going to run it my way. It's my way or the highway. And maybe that is. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of unseen things that we don't know. And maybe they'll come out years down the road. Or maybe if Aaron comes back, he publicly speaks again and maybe he tells us. Because I think Aaron has been, at least the last couple of years, has been more open with how he's feeling about certain things, and I think maybe he would tell all. I kind of hope he does because I do want to know what's happening.
He's gonna go on a podcast with El Presidente or Pat McAfee, and he's gonna spill all the beans in about 5 years.
Yeah,
but
probably.
All right, almost enough Aaron Rodgers. We're gonna put it on tape.
Okay.
Which team does Aaron Rodgers play for in 2021?
You want me to go first?
I'm going to let you go first.
He's going to be playing for the Green Bay Packers. I think he comes back. Do I think he stays with Green Bay? I think it's this year. I think he's done. I have said that already to some other people. I'm like, I think he comes back for this year, has another good year, takes him a little ways. I don't expect.
I think next year makes it considerably easier to trade him in terms of the financial side of things as well. I think this year they would have a lot of dead money, and next year would be a lot easier. But all right, so let me ask you this: if I were to tell you to put money on it, it was either the Green Bay Packers or the field. Are you still going with the Packers?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
For this year, yes. After this year, I'm not confident, honestly.
All right.
I am not confident. Nope, not at all.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I can't imagine he's not going to be a Green Bay Packer past this year. And what I would say
is sucks to say
the way that it does. I mean, you and I were the perfect age. We're the perfect age where we got Brett
for enough years to really like him,
and we got Aaron / Seneca Wallace / Tim Boyle / Matt Flynn, and then Aaron again. Obviously,
we had Vince Young too
Vince Young. That's right.
Who else? No, don't forget about Wisconsin great Scotty Tolzien.
That's right. Let's go.
Throwing the spin move for days on the Vikings. That's the only play I remember him doing, and that was the only good thing that ever came from him.
Yeah,
but
so if I had to guess which specific team he was going to be on this year, I would at this point still say the Packers. But if I had to answer that second question between whether if it was the Packers or the field, as a betting person, I would say the field. If I had to pick one specific team, it's the Packers. But I think the biggest rumors you hear are the Broncos. But I think if it was the Packers or the field, I would say the Packers or the field. But if it's one specific team, I can't not say the Packers. So but enough about. I guess not enough. One more question.
Okay.
Is Aaron Rodgers being a drama queen, or however you want to word it, overly dramatic, butthurt in his feelings? Yes or no? Not just yes or no.
Ooh, because it's tough. Because I do think he is, but I can understand why he is, because we just named off a bunch of things.
Yeah, you can agree with him, but he's still being dramatic.
Yes, he is being dramatic.
Drama queen, butthurt in his feelings.
I do think he's being dramatic, but I can see why he's being dramatic. Do I think he's? I just, out of players, I just kind of want to know what's going on. Tell us, what did you say? We hear all these fucking rumors from everywhere. Tell us from yourself. There is social media. You can do it yourself. You can go on Pat McAfee's show and tell us. Give us answers. Don't just sit in the dark and then be like, give us cryptic messages through, oh, I love this guy, this guy. But, didn't say this. So we got to decipher what is. We got to look at it with a microscope and be like, okay, what's really going on? Fucking tell us. Just tell us. That's all I want. I don't know about you. Just fucking tell us. Players is like just I don't know. Maybe it's in the contract that we in the fine print that we don't know. You can't talk about conversations with the media or something. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that's when you get the agent's cousins, brothers, sisters, wife's fucking third cousin or something. Yeah. And then Adam Schefter somehow knows that person's grandma, and that's where he gets his sources from.
True.
But all right. So you mentioned it. I mean, way earlier, but not a lot of new faces, but we have some players who opted out last season. Some players, obviously, that we picked up in the draft. Not a whole lot of free agent signings. Devondre Campbell, we just picked up, which I think is the key from this offseason is there were no splashy moves, but it was all about building depth. So you said Eric Stokes is gonna, and then Shamar
Gene Charles.
There we go. Didn't want to mess it. I was gonna say Charles Gene. But they help out with defensive back depth. You have Devondre Campbell, who helps out at linebacker. You have a couple of young guys picked up in the draft on offensive and defensive line who just help build the trenches, which is how winning teams are usually built, is up front and through the trenches. But if there is one guy who wasn't on the team last year, whether it was an opt-out, a rookie drafted, one of the few free agents that we signed, which one are you either, however you want to look at it, most excited about, the one who you'll think will have the biggest impact, really however you want to look at it, but a new face to this team, who are you excited about? Who's going to have the most impact going forward?
I think both, who has the biggest impact and who I'm looking forward to watch a lot. I was high on the guy in the draft. I mean, I talked about him before. Yep, you already know. Number 8, Amari Rodgers. Big fan. It seemed like if you just watch his highlight reel from Clemson, it seems like he was catching touchdowns every day, every game. Just different routes too. It wasn't just I'm just a burner. No, he was running across the middle, screens, breaking tackles, going over people, just a little bit of everything. And I think that is an added wrinkle in the slot, which will help Green Bay a lot. I think he is like massive upgrade from Tyler Ervin last year. Don't get me wrong.
We love
or Tavon. I mean, when Ervin was in there, I mean, we both agreed that you had to respect it, right? I think Amari Rodgers, you have to account for him. Yeah. You don't just have to respect him. Like he goes in motion.
Like Tyler Ervin, but talented.
Yeah, like
I mean, they're all talented.
Yes, they're all talented. But
upstairs on my wife's chair talking shit, but
No, I think Amari Rodgers will have an immediate impact with the Green Bay Packers offense. I don't care who's at quarterback, but I think LaFleur will get him involved in the offense early and often and and you know what that does? Frees up Devontae, frees up Lazard, frees up Tunyon, frees up Jonesy. Like it's a lot. I think
the disrespect you were showing to last year's league leader in average yards per catch.
MVS.
MVS. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, MVS. Might even free you up sometimes, but I mean, maybe they're not. They might not be on the field at the same time, because you gotta have Tunyon on the field. I think he's still being disrespected as one of the top tight ends in the league. We saw it last year. Like he should be easily number 5, 6, 7 in that area. Just because his strength catching. I mean, he blocks. He does everything. And I want to say that I saw like a poll or somebody's top 15 tight ends, and Tunyon wasn't on there. I was like, who's it? Like, how are you gonna put freaking
Riley Cox?
Yeah, I don't know if it was him, but somebody along those lines above him. Like he was tied for league lead in touchdowns by a tight end, and I'm just like, you're not putting him in the top. But I mean, they have weapons. They have the weapons, so it's gonna be fun. I think no matter who's at quarterback, it still will be an exciting team.
Yeah.
If it's Aaron, obviously, I think we're looking at a really great season. If it's Jordan Love, I think we still might contend. We have a good enough offense, which Jordan Love wouldn't have to be perfect. I think we're just used to Aaron Rodgers being so consistently good, not turning over the ball, which is the big one. And then coming in like seeing Jordan Love, like what's he gonna do? But it's the same thing like when the transition between Favre and Aaron. It was like, oh, what's Aaron Rodgers gonna do? Like his form doesn't look great. I mean, then
long-haired fuck.
yeah, his first season wasn't the best. I mean, he threw for 4,000 yards, threw like 13 picks, 14 picks, whatever it was. I mean, it wasn't great, but then it's the progression. It's the actual playing time and game speed, and if Jordan Love can replicate that even to the slightest, when he actually has playing time, I think Packer fans are overreacting to if Jordan Love plays, we're going to be the worst team in the league. Adam Schefter said, if Aaron Rodgers is out, that's one of the worst teams in the league. And I'm like, you're starting to lose credibility here, Shefty.
Yep. Yeah, so I agree. For me, back to the original question about who you're most excited or who's the biggest impact, it's got to be Amari Rodgers. And when you think about what the Packers offense has been missing for a couple of years in terms of players on the offense, it's a slot receiver, and it's especially these last few years when it's been gaining in popularity, that gadgety kind of player, and Amari Rodgers fits both of those roles almost perfectly. And I think, if Aaron retires, gets traded, whatever it is,
holds out, whatever,
I think the Packers are still contenders in the NFC North. I don't know if they're contenders for a Super Bowl, but they're definitely contenders to make the playoffs still.
Yeah.
And that's mostly because we get to play Jared Goff and the Lions, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, and then Justin Fields / Red Rifle and the Bears. This is not a very good division.
No.
And it goes back to what we said at the beginning. If the Packers defense steps up, it could be Matt Flynn's grandma. There's a lot of grandma references today, but for me, so
you got a fetish.
Yeah. So, kind of based off of that last question, we're gonna jump right into the top 5. It's been a while. We're gonna combine it all as one instead of doing it separately. So all y'all in the Facebook world,
whoa.
Y'all, I've been breaking that out a lot at work lately. Is the y'alls. So this week's top 5, and again, it's the segment that is sweeping America. It hasn't been swept for like 2 months or so it's getting dusty in here. But the top 5 for this week is top 5 players who need to step up this year for the Green Bay Packers. I'll let Brock do the intro, so I'll start this one off. My number 5 is someone we've talked about a decent amount this show, is Preston Smith. We've already hit on the whys, first year versus second year regression. I really don't need any more explanation than that as to why Preston needs to step up. And let me stop that. But the reason why it's still number 5 is if he doesn't step up, we got this guy who was a beast last year, who I called for 10 plus sacks because I was high on him. Didn't quite get there, but he looked great in Rashawn Gary. So, if they didn't have Rashawn, he would be higher on this list, Preston would. But I'm confident in Rashawn taking over that other edge rusher role. So Preston is my number 5.
I like that. My number 5, he got paid. You know what happens when running backs get paid? Shit starts going downhill. So I want to see Aaron Jones step up and keep that same energy going. I think he will. I think he's a player that always plays with a chip on his shoulder. I think he's not going to back down after this contract year or getting a contract, which could be a final contract for him because we all know how running backs go. And Jamal being gone, and we don't really know how AJ Dillon will do. We both love AJ Dillon, but he is still young and not very experienced. So I think Aaron Jones will get the bulk of the carries. I think we seen last year, like, why is Aaron Jones never in there? I think this year, I think he might be in there a little bit more. So I want to see him still be consistent, that consistent running back, and not kind of, bitch out because he's got his contract now.
Yeah. I don't have him on my list, and that's a good one. Like, we gotta explain ourselves sometimes. You could say Aaron Jones, and then people be like, well, he had a great season last year, but
we both already know that contract years, once running backs get contracts, it changes a lot of them. So I want to see him still put up the same numbers or relatively close.
I like him as a person too. He seems like a good guy off the field. I'm just glad he didn't go to the Jets and get running backs go to the Jets and their career dies. So.
Yeah, that's why I'm also glad he is loyal to Green Bay. Big Aaron Jones fan now.
I remember when he signed that contract. I was walking around Walmart. My wife, Brock, called me drunk out of his mind, excited about the news. So, my number 4.
You weren't so happy. Don't get me wrong. You weren't so happy.
I wasn't. I made that known. You don't pay running backs. But I'm glad after the fact, especially with all this uncertainty going on, I think that would be a huge thing for if Jordan Love potentially has to step in, having the guy who's been there, been through it all. But my number 4, again, we just got done talking about the guy, so we don't need to go too much further. My number 4, Amari Rodgers, I think you don't like to put that much pressure on a rookie who's not, he wasn't a top 10 pick or a guy who's, expected to have to step up. But
it's not like a Devontae Smith kind of guy you expect.
Yeah. So, but I think he has to step up, even if he doesn't have the huge gaudy stats. Just being, like you said, with Tyler Ervin, like for a while there, they had to learn to, or defenses had to respect it. But I think with him, he has to be effective, so defenses have to legitimately prepare and alter their game plan for it. So, Amari Rodgers is my number 4.
Absolutely. This guy, for me, number 4, sat out last year. I think a big body wide receiver, Devin Funchess. I want to see him do good. Do I think I'm not necessarily saying he's going to put up, like you said, gaudy stats, but we need him. Like if MVS struggles or Lazard goes down or there's injuries, he needs to be that guy. He is a veteran and can make a lot of plays. Like he's a big guy, runs a good 40, and can ultimately spread the field. And because Tay's not the biggest wide receiver in the world, but I think Funchess is sitting at like 6'4", and he's big bone too. So it's actually nice to see the Green Bay Packers have a big wide receiver, because we don't really necessarily have a big wide receiver. Our biggest wide receiver is Alan Lazard over the years. So I want him to step up. It's not necessarily I expect big things out of him, but I want him to step up because he did sit out that year. And I want him to be still motivated to play. I don't want just like bringing in Tavon Austin and just him fizzling out or doing this, doing that. I want him to have a solid season this year.
Yeah, Funchess played with Cam Newton a lot in Carolina, going from a wildly inaccurate quarterback to, if it's Aaron, one of the, if not the most accurate quarterback of all time. So, and you don't need to be that accurate with a big, wide body like that. But, you have one of the most accurate QBs of all time potentially throwing you the ball. So, yeah, definitely. My number 3 is a guy who got paid a couple of years ago and has been just a disappointment ever since. Might be a little bit harsh, but, gives a shit. Dean Lowry needs to step up big time.
Is he though? Is he gonna step up?
Is he? Hopefully.
Is he gonna get playing time?
He needs to, because he stands a chance of not even making the team if he. I don't know. Did he take a pay cut already, or is that?
Yes.
I know it was talked about.
They reconstructed him. And I think Tyler Lancaster.
Yeah, I mean, so you have those two, and then Kenny on the defensive line. You got the rookie you just drafted. But I mean, I think Dean Lowry has to step up. Again, it's the defensive line for the defense that the Packers have played in the past aren't going to have the gaudy stats, the sack numbers, but you have to be a run stuffer. You have to set the edge a little bit. You gotta force double teams, or you gotta take advantage of Za'Darius getting double teamed. But I think Dean Lowry. I was gonna cheat a little bit and just say the entire actual defensive line, but I stuck to him specifically. So Dean Lowry is my number 3.
My number 3, I did cheat a little bit. I said cornerback number 2. I don't care who it is. Do not care who it is. It could be Chandon Sullivan for all I care.
Oh, God, no.
I'm just saying. I want someone to step up.
Well,
who's gonna be that number 2?
Cornerback number 2 doesn't mean they're good. That just means they're not number 1.
Well, no, I mean,
if it's Chandon Sullivan, that just means your quarterback 2 is cornerback 8 on a normal team.
Step up, to be cornerback number 2. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? If it's Kevin King, he needs to step up. If it's Eric Stokes, he needs to step up. There's a lot of people that could be in that position that needs to step up. We don't know if it's injuries. People get injured. So whoever comes in and plays that cornerback number 2 on the other side, opposite of Jair, needs to step up. I don't care who it is. Do not care.
Yeah. They
do.
I agree.
They do.
And you'll see why here in a little bit. My number 2, I think this is a surprising one. Maybe. But my number 2 is Billy Turner. Again, he got paid in the not the offseason. He got paid a couple off seasons ago. He's been
solid year.
He's been steady, solid.
He was bounced around on the O-line last year, and he played really solid.
Too many times though, you just see a guy running free or barely blocked. And it's where did they come from? It wasn't box side. He's coming from Billy Turner's side. So he's not bad. But if he steps up and the Packers have 2 legit Pro Bowl caliber bookend tackles, it doesn't matter if it's Jordan Love. It doesn't matter if it's Blake Bortles. The Packers are going to move the ball down the field, and they're going to score a lot of points.
Yeah. I do agree with that because, he was bounced around last year and with a lot of injuries on that O-line throughout the season, kind of really threw a lot of people for a loop. But my number 2, you hit on him earlier, Mr. Preston Smith. Why he's number 2 on mine is because how much he got paid and from the production from his first year. He needs to be that guy that he was in year 1 with Green Bay. And then, we know he can do it, but it's also maybe our new defensive coordinator, doesn't have him lining up on the outside guarding a running back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just spitballing here. Don't put him in. I feel like the defensive coordinator put him in a position to fail. Honestly. You just look at him. Go guard Dalvin Cook on the outside. I'd look at the coach like, are you stupid? I run a 4.9. He runs a 4.3. What the fuck? Yep. But it could be the coach. It could be just a bad season. But we'll see this upcoming season. I think he needs to step up. Otherwise, again, I think he's gone after the year. Or honestly, he might be gone regardless of what his season is.
Yeah. So I sent you this picture or sent it on Snapchat, whatever. But I beat my nephew the other day, 116-17.
Only by 99.
Yes. I let him be the Packers, and I chose the Bills. So pretty good roster. He's 12, so he doesn't really know what he's doing too much. He doesn't know a ton about football. Every single time he was in a just 3-4 base running cover 2 man. What did he do? Preston Smith was lined up on Stephon Diggs. What did I do? Hot route Stephon Diggs for a fly route, a go route. What did I do? I scored 117 points.
16.
I feel like my 12-year-old nephew could have been the defensive coordinator for the Packers last year with the strategy that he was pulling in that game. Is the moral of the story here. So, yes, Preston cannot be lined up outside. It doesn't matter if it's the slowest tight end or a running back or, God forbid, a slot receiver. It will not end well for the Packers. But my number one, you kind of hit on it, but it's Kevin King. I think this could be a Kevin King / Eric Stokes, because I think those are the only two potential corners who could be that legitimate number 2 that the Packers need and are looking for. But they brought him back on a prove it deal. He hasn't proven it so far. It's just one of those things where if the Packers are going to have any hope next season, the pass defense, the defense as a whole just has to step up. And if the front seven isn't getting pressure naturally, what do you have to do? You have to cover more on the back end and let them get those coverage sacks. Seems like every team in the NFL gets them, but I swear I've very, very rarely in the past few years seen the Packers get a coverage sack.
Yeah, it's been few and far between with those coverage sacks. I think we always are like, holy shit, we got a sack because of the coverage.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can agree with that one. I mean, I had them pretty much at 3. But I'm just going to try to find this tweet real quick, just because I know once they started bringing in or had those little training camps or whatever, I texted you right away when I saw it. And I said, Kevin King got beat by none other than Bailey Gaither.
Of course, Bailey Gaither, the great
Bailey
from
Gaither. Western
Virginia?
Southern Kentucky
Tech,
University.
A&M.
Or what's the one off accepted? What's that school?
Was it shit? Right? Southampton Institute of Technology?
I think there's South Harmon.
South Harmon, yes.
South Harmon
Institute of Technology, yes.
Yep. But anyways, he got beat by Bailey Gaither with Blake Bortles throwing him the ball.
The old Bortles.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. That can't happen. I mean, he's no Scotty Miller, but why is that happening, Kevin King? Why is
Tyler Johnson?
Why is that happening? But
All right, let's hear
my
it.
number one. I went off the rails on this one. Matt LaFleur needs to be better. Inconsistent play calling in key games. We see what we can do. But we always toy around with the shit teams. We don't show up in the big games. We're not blowing people out anymore. It's few and far between blowouts. I don't remember. I think there was one game last year where I was sitting nice in the fourth quarter. Where otherwise we're always stressed in the fourth quarter.
Was the Raiders last year, or was that 2 years ago?
I think that was 2 years ago, because he threw 5 touchdowns. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. Just we can't toy around with the Lions. The Lions are bad.
As the great Giannis would say, we didn't want to play with our food.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what he said. That's not a quote.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough. But
don't dangle the carrot.
Yeah, exactly. The great coach Torrey Needham once said, "You dangle the carrot. This is what happens."
Fucking dangling it.
But 2 years ago, we did lead for a second against the Detroit Lions. Not for a second. We kicked 2 game-winning field goals against the fucking Lions, and we've done all this shit every year, toying around with the Vikings. We put up all these points against the Vikings. Oh, defense sucks. Oh, and then there's games where offense sucks. Defense is great. It's just be consistent play calling, and all I ask is don't run that stupid ass pitch play ever again. That shotgun pitch play. Do not run it.
The only thing worse than that is when they try to do like like the toss counter.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Toss it and then cut it. That's almost as bad as the one they used to run with Brett and early in Aaron's career when that fucking stupid long handoff.
Oh, yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah,
Even though it worked
long
really well on
play.
play action. But
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, Aaron does
All right.
they do a little bit like abbreviated version of it now, but that's the only thing I ask. Do not run that stupid ass pitch play. I think it's worked once out of the 45 times I've seen them run it. So please don't run that. Matt LaFleur,
Right.
Matt LaFleur, be better.
Number 1, Matt LaFleur.
Not a player, and I don't care. Be better. Don't kick the field goal.
All right. Not
Andy Reid went for it on 4th down with fucking Chad Henne.
Chad Henne.
Be better.
Yeah.
Be better.
Making Aaron Rodgers get trolled by Aaron Rodgers getting trolled by Tom Brady on if you didn't hear me because you had your headset off like a child. Aaron Rodgers getting trolled by Tom Brady now on the old Twitter machine. So,
But that is our top 5.
That's our top 5. That's a show. It is a wrap. Not too shabby for our first time back in a couple of months here. Gotta hop on the saddle again.
Yep, it's gonna be another long couple of months. We'll try to get on a little bit more once I actually have a consistent schedule, maybe, and not working 80 hours a week, and maybe you don't have hoodlums in your house, or you actually have decent internet. And
my internet's shit right now, but it's gonna be better. It's back to the way it should be almost. So
hopefully I can still do it when a little baby gets here.
You better tell that forenamed baby to keep it down. Daddy's got to do a podcast.
I might have her on.
Allie Mae Elizabeth Hedler.
Yep, she's gonna be right here. Yep.
Hey, look at that. Yeah.
She's going to be right here, sitting on my lap, watching Matt's neck beard bounce up and down.
I'll have Oreo right there. Freaking shit barking for no reason.
Yeah.
All right. You know how we got to end this?
Oh, yeah. Are we going to count it down?
No.
No, we never count it down.
We're all natural. Those of you who have watched and listened long enough, you know how Brock and I always like to end it. We like to end it with the chant of the, 17-time world champion Green Bay Packers. We always like to end it, Brock. We like to end it with a go Pack. Go.
I didn't say the first part because you froze in my screen.
All right, let's try it again. We always like to end it with a go Pack.
Go. I think it was good. I think it was actually probably our best.
My side, it didn't sound too good, but we'll see when I do some editing. Kind of put a little bit of hair on the top of my head, do some magic.
That's why I wore a hat today, because I haven't shaved the old noggin in a while.
That's right. All right. Until next time, guys. Like and subscribe on the old YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Foursquare, MySpace, High Five, Bebo, myfacebook.yearbook.com, all that good stuff. You can find us on like half of those at least. So
Tinder, Bumble, whatever. We got it all. Swipe right.
Until next time. Swipe right.